been playing this for very long. It's great. Great that you've been playing it already. Okay. Do you want to play the whole piece? You don't have to if you want to stop at a certain point. Were you planning, hoping to perform the whole piece?
Hoping.
Oh, I didn't. You mean it sounds like you were hoping it will come out. But
Yeah.
it's up to you. If you don't have to play the whole thing. Do you have a specific place you'd like to stop?
I guess we could just see what comes out.
Okay. Okay. Just give me a look if you want me to stop. Okay. And the black mark was yeah. Okay. good place to stop?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Beautiful. You're already doing a wonderful job with this. Another sort of theme and variations, right? And so you heard Nicholas's Paganini, and if you can now with the Paganini, each variation is wildly different. So it's maybe a little bit more it's just a little bit more apparent that each variation has nothing to do with one another. They might be progressing in terms of energy. I think in the case of that 24th Caprice, it comes in waves. It's actually 3 variations at a time that become more intense. Here it's a little bit more subtle. There's a lot of things. Some things are clearly more different. Other times it feels like, well, there's a lot of quarter notes or a lot of 8th notes, right? But if you can stretch the difference between those, okay, really stretch your imagination and your tonal range, your color range, your dynamics, I mean, it all goes together. If you want to use some, I wouldn't do very Ponticello sometimes, but quasi Ponticello, a little bit icier sound, sometimes a sound that is almost ghostly, not so tangible, and then sometimes parts that you haven't even gotten to, it's really like a huge granite mountain, right? So that kind of range in this, it's really such a dramatic work, and it is written also so beautifully for the violin. But let's talk just a little bit about sound production. We talked a little bit with the others, but I think it's just a very, very important part of playing the violin. With Hanami, what we were talking about, you were probably warming up, right? So what we talked about, what I feel is the hardest thing about playing the violin is trying to express these big things, these intense things, through this little box, right? And we can so easily force the sound, and when we do that, we're trying to create resonance, and when we push too hard, we're actually squashing the resonance. And so we have to imagine the sound is not something solid, we're not hitting a baseball with a baseball bat. Actually, even worse, where it's, because what happens is we keep, it would be like, at least with a baseball, we hit it and it goes, right? You want to hit it further, you take a bigger swing at it. What we're trying to do sometimes, we're trying to control it all the way, the flight of a ball. It would almost be like taking a gong and trying to create, or bell, and trying to create a huge resonance by hitting it, but then still touching it. And as if touching it harder is going to really make a difference. What we're actually doing is we're squashing that resonance. Now, so that's why it rings so freely when it gets off the string. Now, the beauty of the bow and the difference between the bowed instruments and the plucked instruments is this goes away in a very natural way. So now we can manipulate the rest of the ring. But it's manipulating it, it's not creating it. Okay? And so it's something we've been working on a little bit with the others is the articulation. Okay? So when you want a certain sound, put it into the articulation. I don't mean also, articulation is kind of a dirty word for violinists a lot of times. It makes us just play like this. This could be articulation. Okay? You want a certain sound. The way you started, that's the articulation. But then after that, just gently manipulate the sound. Can you start the opening phrase with that idea in mind? I'm curious, did you think about it before?
I did.
Yeah, so you tightened it more. You thought you were tightening it more, right? And that's always what happens. It's just more than you think. Play the same phrase again. So great. Now, let's initiate, okay, the ring. Let's think of the string almost like a bell, okay? We're going to strike it, except we're not hitting it. We're on the string, but we're striking it down, okay? And then, do, ya, the rest of that G is less into the string. Then we are, it's almost like a top that's spinning, okay? We initiate it, it's going a certain speed, and then if we try to turn it like this, it's just not going to, it's never going to really take off. What we want to do is keep it going, okay? Try that. And sorry, actually try just one note, and this first touch is spinning the top, and then the rest of it is encouraging it to keep going. Okay, let's take vibrato out of the equation first, and so don't hit the string from the string. Okay, put the bow on the string, and you're going to articulate with a K, like you know how, and then let go and just, this is the top right there, okay? We're touching the top with a bow, okay? It's spinning over here. And you're going to just keep it going at the same speed. That's right, good. No vibrato. And right at the frog. Start right at the frog. That's right. And go all the way through the tip. There you go. Okay. Can you play the same after the chord? That's better. Okay, play the phrase and try to, even if it sounds a little bit accented this time, it's okay. But I want you to, actually even in this slur, especially each new bow. It's kind of weird, right? It sounds loud, but you can see right now how much I'm releasing.
Yeah.
Great. Even deeper articulations, and then release just as you are. Keep going. Good. And try from here. you wanted more intense here, right? At the beginning of it, and then still releasing, okay? But have faith that if you are that intense at the beginning of the note, then even with that release, as long as your bow keeps moving, it's going to maintain that intensity, okay? Good, that's good, good. This is a general thing that you don't like to use from about there to there on your bow. So, and this is a very, very powerful, effective part of the bow. The most, actually. So you're missing, I really actually think this is like worth the rest of the bow. So you're missing half of the bow. You could have 200% actually of what you have. So go all the way and start it there. Good, okay. I mean, now you're really starting to get some energy out there. And this is not just that now we can also manipulate the sound, meaning you can make a diminuendo too, okay? You can make a crescendo, and then there are many different kinds of diminuendos and crescendos. Sometimes we might even crescendo and it gets lighter. Right? It's not, but that's a different kind of crescendo. Okay? But always remembering that it's the top. And the moment we push it, then it's going to just fall over. Right? We want to, again, encourage the sound. Let's do something in a lower register. About on the lower strings, that initiation has to be deeper. Imagine a bigger, heavier top, okay? And the encouraging has to also be a little bit deeper, but it's still the same idea. We can definitely squash it. We want to keep it going. Have you ever heard the idea of your sound spinning?
From you just now.
with it, really? Did I say spinning? Well, it's like the top. We want to imagine your sound continuing to spin out into the hall, okay? It's not just a solid mass that stays right here. Great, keep going. Yeah, start playing the whole phrase. It was so satisfying. You're having fun with this, aren't you? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so great to you're actually playing with this idea, and you are manipulating it, and it's so great. When you get to the softer colors, like right at the end, then and we don't want to initiate really as much. Then you can use your left hand to initiate. Okay, the moment that there's almost like the minimum that our bow does is already quite a bit. And so if we have a very light bow, but then from maybe from this point on, the softer and softer articulations, that you use your left hand. and then it's just much more subtle. But this idea is great. You're really doing great. So just remember to tighten your bow, everybody, and really practice using this part. Okay. I would recommend for Ian. I mean, just as a way of giving all of you ideas for practicing. But if you have an issue like this, you don't like to use that part of the bow. Okay, then just practice using that part of the bow. Okay, so play scales only. It's gonna feel awful at first, and you just have to make yourself do it and then make it sound good, and you're gonna be shocked how much better, how much more you can do, how much longer you can hold notes first, of course, but the depth and the power. Even we can play lightly down here, and that's an amazing sound when we play very light, but we let the bow fall into the string. That's when you can get a light but rich sound, okay, which you want sometimes. Right? Okay, Ian, thank you. Bravo.